In the Tajik capital of Dushanbe, under chandeliers and regional flags, the Central Asia-Russia summit unfolded with measured ceremony. Yet beneath the diplomacy, a statement by Vladimir Putin sent ripples far beyond this ornate hall, one that linked Moscow's foreign policy directly to Donald Trump's peace push in the Middle East. Russian President Vladimir Putin praised the United States president's so-called initiatives for ending the long and bloody Israel-Hamas conflict, a war that has devastated Gaza and reshaped alliances across the region. His remarks came during a joint briefing with Central Asian leaders, all listening intently as Putin chose his words carefully, knowing they would echo globally. At one point in the broadcast, Putin said, President Trump put forward well-known initiatives and, as you have seen, Russia almost immediately supported them. We see what is happening now. According to media reports, a final decision has been made. We really hope that these initiatives of the US president will actually be implemented in practice. It was a striking moment, Russia publicly backing an American peace effort and doing so with unmistakable timing. For months, the world has watched as Trump's 20-point Gaza peace framework moved from skepticism to sudden momentum. The deal, brokered through Qatari, Egyptian and Turkish mediators, calls for a phased ceasefire, hostage prisoner exchanges and the gradual reconstruction of Gaza under international supervision. Now, Russia's endorsement adds a new layer of legitimacy and intrigue. Moscow, long aligned with both Iran and Palestinian factions, is signaling openness to Washington's leadership in a region it once sought to counterbalance. In the marble-lined Palace of Nations, where Putin spoke to cameras beside Tajik President Emomali Rahmon, the message was deliberate. Russia is no longer positioning itself as a spoiler, but as a stakeholder. Analysts noted the tone, not defiant, not defensive, but cautiously approving. A Kremlin source described it as strategic alignment where interests overlap. The remarks came amid a series of parallel developments. In Cairo, Egyptian negotiators confirmed progress on implementing the US-backed truce. In Ankara, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan pledged to help monitor ceasefire compliance. And in Moscow, foreign policy advisors framed Russia's move as part of a broader repositioning, one that seeks economic stability through cooperation, not confrontation. By backing Trump's plan, Putin effectively aligned Russia with the same coalition of mediators steering post-war Gaza's reconstruction. For observers, this marks a rare diplomatic convergence. In previous Middle East crises, Moscow often challenged Washington's dominance. But this time, Putin seems to recognize opportunity, not opposition. Russian energy officials see prospects for infrastructure rebuilding contracts, while security analysts argue that stability in Gaza serves Moscow's interests in curbing extremism across Muslim regions of the Caucasus and Central Asia. When Putin mentioned that Russia almost immediately supported the US initiative, it reflected behind-the-scenes coordination. Sources in Doha and Cairo confirmed that Russian envoys had quietly participated in early drafts of the ceasefire's monitoring framework, though Moscow never claimed credit publicly. The reason, insiders say, was to allow Trump's administration to lead the narrative, while Russia benefits from the outcome. For President Donald Trump, the Kremlin's approval is symbolic validation at a crucial time. Domestically, his administration faces political turbulence, from the US government shutdown to partisan battles in Congress. Internationally, however, Trump is projecting himself as a peacemaker, the man who ended the world's most entrenched conflict. Putin's endorsement, captured here in Dushanbe, reinforces that image. It also strengthens Trump's claim that his Middle East policy commands bipartisan and even global respect. In Dushanbe, Central Asian leaders from Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan watched carefully. For them, the message extended beyond Gaza. It signaled a recalibration of Russia's global posture under pressure from sanctions and economic constraints. By aligning with Washington's peace initiative, Moscow is choosing pragmatism over rivalry, a shift that could define post-Ukraine diplomacy and reshape regional partnerships. The visual symbolism mattered too. Behind Putin, banners bearing both Russian and Tajik emblems hung against deep crimson drapery. The backdrop, ornate, imperial, almost theatrical, underscored the gravity of his words. This wasn't an offhand remark. It was scripted diplomacy, designed for headlines and international interpretation. As one Russian analyst put it, When Putin speaks about Trump's initiative, he is also speaking to Tehran, Beijing, and Brussels at once. The soundscape of the hall captured the weight of the moment: pens scratching, translators whispering, cameras clicking. Putin's statement lasted less than 30 seconds. Yet in that short time, he managed to bridge 2 years of global estrangement. His closing words: "We really hope that these initiatives will actually be implemented in practice," conveyed both caution and commitment, a blend of realism and political theatre. Analysts interpret the phrase "in practice" as a subtle message to Washington. Moscow's support is conditional, contingent on tangible outcomes, not just televised triumphs. It's a reminder that peace, for Russia, is not charity, it's strategy. Behind closed doors, Russian diplomats are already preparing to insert themselves into post-conflict arrangements, perhaps through reconstruction projects or humanitarian corridors. This isn't the first time Russia and the US have found common ground in the Middle East. From Syria's chemical disarmament in 2013 to Iran's nuclear negotiations, Moscow has occasionally acted as both critic and collaborator. But today's endorsement stands out for its timing, arriving just as global attention pivots from war to reconstruction and from division to diplomacy. Observers noted that Putin's tone, calm, almost reflective, contrasted sharply with the often combative rhetoric of previous years. His delivery suggested a leader seeking equilibrium, perhaps aware that Russia's leverage now depends less on confrontation and more on influence. The shift was subtle but unmistakable, a nod of approval toward Trump's peace effort, wrapped in the language of sovereignty and mutual respect. What happens next will determine whether this alignment endures. Officials in Washington say they welcome Moscow's constructive stance but remain cautious. For Trump's team, led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Russia's backing could smooth multilateral enforcement, particularly in coordination with Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar. If successful, this could mark the first joint US-Russian diplomatic win since before the Ukraine war. In the twilight of Dushanbe's skyline, Putin's words hung in the air, carefully crafted, geopolitically weighted, and unmistakably strategic. He had done what few expected: lend open support to a Trump-led peace plan while projecting Russian pragmatism on a global stage. As the summit adjourned, aides gathered papers, cameras dimmed, and a single phrase from Putin continued to resonate: "We really hope these initiatives will be implemented in practice." President Trump put forward well-known initiatives, and as you have seen, Russia almost immediately supported them. We see what is happening now. According to media reports, a final decision has been made. We really hope that these initiatives of the US president will actually be implemented in practice.
Мы очень надеемся на то, что эти инициативы президента США будут на самом деле на практике реализованы.